So there's this phone. It comes in a glossy black finish. Let's see, it's got a roughly 720p display, quad-core processor, 2 gigs of RAM. Yeah, that's right. The Galaxy S3. Hey guys, this is Dodoid. So, jokes aside, we know the iPhone is not an impressive device in terms of performance, just as it is every year. It's never been particularly quick compared to the competition, but that's fine. I mean, it's still a device that some people, like my mum and my sister, really like, and that's because some of the other iPhones, despite being a little slow compared to their counterparts on Android, are actually really good phones. The iPhone 7 is not, and it's for one reason, and it's for a really big reason. And that reason is the headphone jack. And there's a couple of reasons why removing the headphone jack from the iPhone 7 is a terrible idea. So, first let's get out of the way what removing the headphone jack isn't. A lot of people are saying that they're removing the headphone jack to force you to buy their AirPods, to force you to buy Bluetooth headphones like Beats and so on. However, anybody can make a pair of Bluetooth headphones. And AirPods, Beats, not the only headphones that are going to work. So I don't believe that removing the headphone jack is just a cash grab to get you to buy Apple products, because other products work. But it still really sucks, and it's still stupid. And the reasoning is this. Now, a lot of people will liken this to the iMac, when the iMac dropped its floppy drive in favor of the CD drive. And side note, I think lifting old blue computers is like a Dodoid thing now. Because I lifted an Octane in my last video, now I'm lifting this. So, a lot of people will liken it to the iMac dropping the floppy drive. No. CDs are better than floppies. And the iMac dropped the floppy drive somewhat prematurely. You could argue that it did it at the right time, or you could argue that it did it too early. But, ultimately, the CD drive that's here was a better technology for storage media that is removable than floppies were. So, why are Lightning headphones or wireless headphones not as good as 3.5mm headphone jack headphones? The reason for this is simple. Actually, two reasons for this, and one of them is a bit more obscure. The simple reason is that wireless headphones have to be charged. There's no way around that, and Lightning headphones don't allow you to charge the phone at the same time as using the headphones. Now, I've heard a lot of people argue that nobody charges their phone while using headphones at the same time. Those people are just wrong. I charge my phone with headphones regularly, my dad charges his phone and listens to headphones regularly, and a lot of my friends charge their phone and listen to headphones regularly. Now, the other reason's a little bit more obscure. And that reason is a brilliant bit of design on the part of the 3.5mm headphone jack. So here is my phone, a Samsung Galaxy Note 4, and here is a pair of headphones plugged into the headphone jack on top. So if I had Lightning headphones and I pulled the cable to the side, the connector's held in the phone, so the cable's just going to pull sideways, and you might damage your connector, you might damage your cable, you might damage any number of things along the way. But here's what's clever about the 3.5mm jack. If you take your headphones and you spin the cable around in the jack, it will turn. And often when you're wearing headphones, at least the headphone end is going to be moving around. Your head's going to be moving around. And if you're running with headphones or something, the phone is also moving. So the ability for the cable to bend like this and to spin around the jack is actually ingenious, and it's the reason why you practically never see headphones that are frayed at the 3.5mm end, because even if you pull hard, it just pops out. There's no way you can take this and pull on it in a way that's going to fray this end of the cord. That's not the case with Lightning or micro USB or anything else. And for headphones, which are a mobile thing that you're wearing on your head which is moving, the ability to spin like this and this circular form factor is ingenious. So the headphone jack is, as of now, the best way that we have to plug in headphones. There's no reason to change away from that. But apparently there is. Because on the iPhone 7, the Taptic engine, the part inside the phone that vibrates when you press hard on the screen, or now when you use the home button, since it's not a physical button, is bigger. The Taptic engine takes up more space in the phone, And apparently, the reason they can't have a headphone jack is because the Taptic engine is too big. The other reason I've heard is that it's apparently hard to waterproof a headphone jack. Now, talking about Samsung again here, the first waterproof phone I ever owned was my Samsung Galaxy S5. Now, on the S5, the charging port on the bottom had a flap over it that had to be closed if you wanted the phone to be waterproof. But the headphone jack didn't. The headphone jack was waterproof on its own. And on later Samsung phones, neither port was covered. Both of them were fully exposed and normal, but also waterproofed. The other reason that I've heard is that the reason the Taptic engine has to be bigger is so that pressing on the home button can cause the simulated press as if you were actually pressing it. And apparently the reason that the press is now simulated as opposed to a physical button is because waterproofing. Now, waterproofing is a great feature, but again, talking about the Galaxy S5, its home button, which also, like the iPhone's contains a fingerprint sensor, was a physical button that pressed into the phone, and it didn't have a flap, it didn't have a cover, it was waterproof on its own. Other phones have headphone jacks, and they do okay. Other phones that are thinner than the iPhone 7, other phones that are more technologically capable, other phones that are waterproof, also have headphone jacks. I don't know. Courage. It doesn't make sense.